Welcome back to another episode of the Bulldog Bark. I'm Caden, joined with Janine, Carrington, Meadow, and Samaya, along with our special guest, Principal Springer. So tell us about yourself. Did you go to college?
I did go to college, went to Ball State, got out of there, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So I think I had a degree in psychology and realized I wanted to be a teacher. So I had to go back to IUPUI for about a year and got my credentials for teaching and became a teacher. And then probably about 10 years later, I went and got my master's degree from Indiana University, and that allowed me to be a principal. So that's called an educational leadership master's program, and I feel like I kind of reached my peak there. I don't think I can go much higher because I don't think I'm smart enough to go any higher than that. So I haven't. That was the end of my college career. That was probably about 20 years ago.
What did you plan to do with your psychology degree?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know, when you go to college, I think I saw a statistic where 70% of freshmen in college go there with a major in mind, and it ends up changing. And so I went there thinking I wanted to go into business, and as I progressed, I was like, wow, this doesn't really feel like something I want to do. So I got really deep into college, and college is expensive, as you know. And so when I stopped taking business classes, I had a minor in psychology going, so I just finished up with psychology. So to answer your question, I was just trying to get a college degree. I did not have a whole lot of direction I still at that point had no idea what I wanted to do.
Are there any new clubs or programs planned for students this year?
That's a really good question. You know, every year we want to try to start a new tradition. We ask our seniors to kind of lead the way. Unfortunately, this year we've had to reduce our faculty and staff. You've probably noticed that this year. There's a lot of people here that weren't here, a lot of people not here that were here last year. So we're struggling with adding anything new right now because we just don't have the manpower. In fact, we're trying to keep GLAM going. So we're looking for a sponsor for that. So, you know, right now, I don't know of any new programs or clubs that we have. We have some new teachers that I'd like to mention. So we have Mr. Hyatt. He's teaching business, and he's also teaching in the middle school. We have Mrs. Hauber. She started yesterday. She's teaching Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And we have Mrs. Shotwell. She came over from the middle school. She's teaching geometry. Mr. Yockler is here teaching English 10 and 11. And Mr. Dickman is in our special needs department. I hope I don't forget somebody. I think those are all of our new teachers this year. So with new people coming into the building, they're the ones that really might bring new clubs and new ideas. We're trying to keep everything going. With Mrs. Kozaczuk leaving, she had the board gaming club, so Mr. Pridemore's taken that over. So we're trying to get some stuff going, but right now we're kind of just going with what we had last year.
Are there going to be any resources for students that struggle with schoolwork this year?
Absolutely. Well, first off, we really focus on math and English. So we have two different teachers that are here to help with any students that are having math problems. It's called the Math Assistance Center. So Mrs. Nybert's here at 7 to 7:45, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Any student can go see her for help. And then Mrs. Haber, our new math teacher, she's going to do it, I think, in the afternoons. Yesterday was her first day. She was teaching at Columbus East, so she couldn't get here till yesterday. English, Mrs. Allen does English help, and she does that, I want to say that's on Tuesday and Thursdays. So, and then I think your teachers, all of them, if you ask them, if you say I'm really having problems, most all of our teachers will find time to help you.
If you could add one class or club that doesn't exist yet, like, what would it be and why?
Add one class or club. I'd really like to see us have the ability to offer more. They're called dual credit classes. So a dual credit class is a class where you get a high school credit and you get a college credit. And it takes a special certification for our teachers to teach it. And you can do those in English and math. We already have them we have one in English. We have one, and Mr. Reeder's doing it with some of his classes in social studies. FFA does it with ag science business because we had changes there. Mr. Hankins used to teach it. So I would really like to see us, and we're going to continue to try to add classes where you get a high school credit and a college credit. Those are called dual credit classes.
I also heard that you used to be a coach. Do you like being a coach or an administrator more?
I do miss being a coach. So coaching is a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work. Our coaches here at our school, they put in a lot of time. I mean, the amount of time they put into coaching is amazing, because not only you might see them as only a coach, but they teach all day or work in some capacity, and then they come here and coach. I found for me, when I got married and started a family, it was I had to kind of choose between, do I want to continue coaching or become an administrator? I kind of got lucky in being an administrator. I came here to be just a teacher and a coach, and they offered me the opportunity to be an assistant principal. So I really liked the school, I liked the area, so I kind of just took what I got, and so that's what kind of pushed me towards administration. It's really hard to be an administrator and a coach because most of the time you just don't have time to do both. So I really like being an administrator, so I guess if I had to choose, I'd choose being an administrator.
How has your coaching experience changed the way you are as an administrator?
Yeah, so coaching is very difficult. You have to be very organized. You have to not be afraid of hard work and long hours. You have to not only you have to plan and teach the student athletes, but then you also have to work with your coaches as well. So it really helps you in learning how to build relationships with people, whether it be other adults that you're coaching with or the student athletes that you're trying to mold and motivate. So it really prepares you to be an administrator or a teacher. It really prepares you to do about anything in life where you're dealing with other people.
How has your job changed since moving from vice principal to principal?
Well, I tell you what, as far as having a lot of free time to do stuff I like to do outside of school work, going from being assistant principal to principal, the responsibility was huge, and just the time I had to spend working, because as an assistant principal, you have a lot of duties, but at the end of the day, you can kind of just pack up your bag and go home. Well, when you're principal, there really is no end of the day. I mean, I've had calls on every evening of every day of the week. I get calls on Sunday, on Saturday. A lot of times you have to come in here on weekends. So really the biggest thing is just the level of responsibility goes way up in terms of what you're responsible for.
At what point made you want to switch to being in the high school?
Well, so I started out teaching in the high school and coaching at the high school level. Again, you never know which way life's going to point you. When I was at the high school as an assistant principal, the middle school principal left in the middle of the year, so they asked me to go to the middle school. So I really had no desire to go to the middle school, but it was an opportunity to grow and maybe do something different. And I really liked the middle school, but I think my heart was in the high school. I probably do better with high school students. I like so at the high school level, you have your band, your choir, your athletics, your getting students ready to graduate, doing the graduation, celebrating all the seniors' success. The middle school, those kids have a lot of energy. It's a really unique time for a middle school student, like ages 12 to 14 or 15. Do you remember back to those days? Not much. A lot of energy, a lot of, I think you have to be a very special person to be a middle school administrator or teacher or coach.
What's the hardest decision you made as a principal?
Yeah, so the hardest decisions for principals, I believe, are if you have to tell somebody that, we're gonna go our separate ways, whether it be a teacher or an instructional aide. That's really difficult. So I guess in terms that probably everybody understands, firing somebody is probably the toughest decision, and I've had to do that with multiple people, and I can't really go into names. That would be a violation of their liberties, but that's really hard. Other really hard decisions are when students break a rule and you have to talk to the parents about the fact that they're going to be expelled. That's very difficult. It's very difficult for the student because everybody makes mistakes, but obviously if you're going to be expelled, you made a really big mistake, it's really hard on the parents. I mean, the parents take that really hard. Can you imagine your parents being told that you were going to be kicked out of school for a year? That's very hard to decide what to say, try to make it seem positive, try to make them understand that it may be in the best interest of their son or daughter and that we're going to figure out a way that they can come back and still graduate. Those are really hard decisions.
What's a piece of advice you would give students at Minervia?
A piece of advice, I'd say my greatest advice would be, I think as you listen to me talk about my career, a lot of my advancement in my career is just because I show up every day. Every day I come to work, I get here on time, I stay here all day. My advice would be just get here every day. Take pride in coming to school and not being absent. There's going to be days when you don't feel 100%, but you still need to come to school and get that habit of being here every day, because you're going to graduate from here and then you're going to start another career, whether it be more school or work. And if you can just be dependable and be there every day, things are going to work out for you. Another thing I try to do, I don't know what it's called, but I have problems procrastinating, putting things off, and I just can't afford to do that with all the things that are going on. I try to put 5 minutes into a task I don't want to do, and usually if I can put 5 minutes into it, I find out, oh my gosh, 25, 30 minutes later, I'm still working on it. So that's something that procrastination can really bog you down with your grades and what you want to do. And then the last thing I would advise students to do is do something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable here at high school. That's really the only way you're going to meet new people or expose yourself to things that you may like that you didn't know you liked. So don't always just go for the most comfortable class or friends or activities, or just go home after school because it's comfortable to go home and lay around and be on my phone. Try to challenge yourself to do something maybe each year that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
All right, that's all we have for you. And thank you for joining us, Principal. And thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day, Bulldogs.
All right, thank you.